So I think I'm gonna get back into Yu-Gi-Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to start moving in a slightly different direction deck-wise. If you missed last week's episode, we essentially figured out a one-card Quasar combo. We teched Arch Nemesis in Eldlich, had a lot of fun with that, and we've been having a lot of fun with Eldlich in general. It's definitely one of my favorite decks. However, this channel, it was built on a very different deck, a very rogue deck, and a deck I've really wanted to get back to since the start of Master 05. And this week, returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is returning to Heroes. So I know this is something you guys have wanted for quite a while as well. I'm really excited to get into it. So let's crack the binders and put something together. Heroes is an incredibly nostalgic deck to me. It is the deck that I chose to get back into the game with. It is a deck that actually got me my first locals win against Striker Orchest, and it's admittedly a non-linear deck that took me a long time to learn. However, after about 2.5 months, I was feeling relatively comfortable, and we found ourselves only one win away from our invite at an amazing Toronto Regionals. On top of all of that, it's also a deck that I really wanted to revisit, and today, we are doing exactly that. So here we have our first hero deck of Master 05, and as you can see from the montage, we actually changed things up quite dramatically. Normally, I do like to play first, I do Dark Claw, Plasma, or a combination of just hero fusions, and try to build something really strong. However, I think it's important to keep an open mind, especially as we move from format to format as decks do change in rotation, because the way your deck functions is going to be heavily dependent on how every other deck functions, because they're always interacting with each other, right? So I figured new Masteral, new format, we'd try something different, keep an open mind, and this actually isn't my list. So if it does really well, I don't deserve any credit for it. It's actually Mario's list. He posted it up on one of our group chats, and I thought, you know what? I'll try something different. We will do Going Second Heroes. And it's also worth noting that this is something that Sam from Team Samurai X1 has been trying to get me to do forever at this point. Every event we see each other at, he does suggest that I give the deck a try, and we are finally going to make it happen. I think it'll actually be really funny to just kind of hear his reaction, so I think we're going to give him a call and just kind of see what he thinks.
Ruggles? What? Hello?
Hey Sam!
Ryan, what's going on, bro?
I have news for you, brother.
This is super unexpected. What's up? What's up?
I am finally going to take your advice, and I'm going to run Going Second Heroes. So I know you've been telling me to play this deck for months now. So tell me, what do you think about it in general?
Oh, Going Second Hero. So you're finally taking my advice, huh? Okay, so right now for this format, Going Second Heroes are still pretty decent. They're not the greatest like last format when I talked to you about them, but they're still great. I still think that they have huge potential. The deck is just very aggressive. They can easily OTK. Ferris, Malicious, Stratos, Mass Change, those cards are just very aggressive cards while going second. The only problem is that dealing with these bunch of negate boards, but if you're able to build your deck revolving around going second, you pretty much can adapt to the format entirely. For example, you can incorporate cards like Dark Rule No More. Essentially, if you're playing a Dark Rule No More route while going second, you can easily break your opponent's board and try to set up Dark Law so your opponent can't play on the following turn. Usually with decks like Animancipators or the Eldlich combo type decks, they basically use their entire extra deck and they put their boards up on the field and they basically say, hey, break my board or else you lose, right? Heroes have no problems doing that, so you can easily go Dark Ruler, break their boards with Sunrise, Flame Wingman. If you play that build, Malicious Bane especially can blow up their entire board at once if you play Dark Rule no more, which is absolutely amazing. So you can easily do that, break their boards, and then try to set up with a couple mass change, things like that, so that way that you can go Dark Law to just oppress your opponent on their turns.
Nice, nice, love to hear it. And I have one more question. What do you think about Malicious currently being at 2? I feel like a lot of my combos really relied on 3, and I'm super curious how you feel 2 has been working for you.
Malicious at 2, huh? Okay, so it's not a big deal, Ryan. Don't worry, man. You just lost one extender, which is completely fine. Heroes have a billion, gazillion extenders anyways. So Malicious at 2 doesn't really hurt the deck as much. Yes, it loses its extension capabilities a little bit, but the deck still functions the exact same way like it will function in the previous format. So the deck is still just very, very powerful. I definitely recommend you on trying it out. Yeah, Ryan, thanks for talking to me, bro. I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for calling, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. And yeah, I can't wait for the... Is this gonna be is this part of a video, or like is this gonna be in your video? Oh, that's super awesome. Okay, I can't wait to see it, man. Loving your series so far. All right, okay, Ryan, thank you so much, man. All right, take care. All right, peace.
So that was Sam from Team Samurai X1. Awesome guy. I don't know if I've told you the story before, but when I went to my first regionals, I think I was only playing for like 2 months. I wasn't doing great, but I remember seeing Sam and being like, wow, that is a guy that really inspired me to play Heroes. He really inspired me to get back into the game. Maybe I should go up, maybe I should say hey, maybe I should thank him for just, you know, having the impact he did. And I realized very quickly just how busy he was. He was signing things, he was talking to people, he was doing all of these different things that you have to do, that you want to do as a creator at a larger event. And so I said, you know what, not this time, maybe next time when he is a little bit more free, maybe when I have a bit of a bigger channel. And a little bit later in the day, he actually came up to me, said, hey buddy, how you doing? I like your content. How are you doing with the event? And it was so cool that like he took the time out of his day, which was incredibly obviously busy, to talk to me, to introduce himself, to kind of initiate that and kind of welcome me into the community. It was such a nice move. And you know, the guy that you see on screen on his videos, that's the guy he is. We're going to do something very special. This is something that we've all been waiting to do since episode 1, quite honestly. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it now. And it is, what we are about to open is going to be the most monumental, historic opening for the channel, especially if you've been watching since day 1. That's the most apt way I can put it. So, we're going to open a very special package, and I cannot wait for you to see what's inside. So here we have our very first Malicious Bane, and it is wild that we finally have it. I ordered this card 3 weeks before getting back into the game, before attending that first tournament you witnessed, and I didn't think I'd ever see it. I ended up ordering a second, which I've been playing with, but I didn't think we'd ever actually see this card. So apparently it got lost in the mail, and the packaging, as you can see, incredibly dirty. Very waterlogged. Portions of the text have been eroded off, and my hands are like actually dirty just from touching the package, just because of the legacy this has on the channel. Instead of playing the second copy, we are now going to be playing this one. But awesome that we finally have it. And with that, I'm not going to ramble too much. It just deserved time, you know, like it deserved conversation. So with that, we are going to move on in the video. Now, while this channel is predominantly and will always be about Yu-Gi-Oh!, I am also a massive fan of the Halo franchise. A lot of you have pointed out that I do have these in the background of, all of my videos, and Halo 3, definitely my favorite game of all time. Halo Infinite is coming out at the end of the year, and I'm really, really excited about it. I cannot wait for gameplay, and I think I want to get to a point where I am streaming it 3-4 nights a week when it comes out. So that means kind of reworking my schedule. I'm currently working like 80-90 hours a week, which is a little bit insane, but I like working. I like doing what I do. So with that said, we are going to hop into a couple of games. I'm going to try to warm up, try to, get okay at the game again. It used to be pretty good. Now, I don't really know. Returning to Halo with Ruggles. But with that said, let's jump into it and have some fun. So that was incredibly fun. I played for significantly longer than I intended to, but I'd really like to know in the comments if this is something you'd like to continue seeing in the future. I really do want these vlogs, to be snapshots of my life, so like 5-10 years down the line, I can actually go back and watch them and kind of relive these experiences and kind of relive the journey. So with that said, I did play for significantly longer than I intended to. Definitely a game I can just play for like 9 hours straight. So, I'm going to call it a night, and I will see you guys on tournament day. So, it is Saturday, it is tournament day, and it is going to be a very interesting tournament day because while I previously intended to set time aside in my week to kind of go over test hands, relearn the hero combos, I ran out of time. I spent a lot of time working on my art channel, doing a lot of painting, and well, here we are. So it's going to be very interesting. I've definitely forgot a lot of the combos, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I like the idea of going into this online tournament and kind of having to figure things out from the beginning. It really will feel like a proper reintroduction into the deck, and win or lose, again, it's always just kind of about having fun. So let's jump into it and talk to the guys.
Hey YouTube, it's Rob and I'm playing Infinite Track Trains.
Hi, my name is GR and I play Scraps.
Hi there, I'm Gannon, and I play Booster Ray Turbo.
Hi, my name's Carter and I'm playing Pendulums.
I'm Brandon, and I am playing Pyro Phoenix Turbo the deck.
Hi, I'm Mario from Mario's Gaming World, and I run the tournaments.
Game 1 was against a great new member of our community, Red Flare, and he was playing Scraps, which is actually a really neat rogue deck. We opened with Dark Calling and a Dusted, which of course isn't ideal, and we couldn't push for any damage, but we did pick up quite a few pluses, and we set our Shadow Mist so we could search Ferris on the following turn. He did end up running over the Shadow Mist, we searched what we needed, and from there I realized that we could extend significantly further and build a much larger board, but all we really needed was a Malicious Bane, a Decimator, and an Honest Neos for the OTK. So we saved some time and did exactly that. Game 2, he surprisingly made us go first, and after getting impermed, Dark Law, it simply wasn't an option. However, after reviewing this game, I could have definitely still made Absolute Zero, Sunriser, Decimator, and kept a Stratos on field with 2 cards in hand, so we really were quite a bit rusty, and this turn, well, it was admittedly full of misplays. That said, Red Flare did see the opportunity, and he took it, so he promptly summoned his Recycler, extended, and started going off into a strong OTK. Game 3, I thought I would decide to go first, and it worked well considering he sided in Pointers. Now, here yet again, we were met with an imperm and had to pivot. I did admittedly make some more misplays, but we still had a good wall of defense and access to a double Dark Law. He wasn't able to play through our board, and we OTK'd on the following turn. So we did take our first match, however, I really do think it's worth noting that I feel like the real win here was more so having the opportunity to play with Red Flare. He is, again, a new member of our community, and he has some really creative ideas. Super nice guy, and I do feel that going forward in the future, when you do get to see his different deck variants he was showing us, you're going to love what he comes up with. So, with that said, let's jump into the next match. Round 2 was against Brandon and Salamangreat. Brandon normally takes the win with this matchup, but I was determined to give it my best. So he went first, built a fairly decent board. However, he didn't have the Parallax Seed or any hand traps, so we did actually have a chance. We started with a Lightning Storm, getting rid of his Roar, then essentially just felt really safe, so we started moving through the motions. I did start to remember how to prioritize my plays, and we were able to build a pretty formidable board, which consisted of Malicious Bane, Stratos, Zero, Sunriser, and Dread Decimator, giving them all a boost. We also had Honest Neos in hand, so in the end, we were able to swing for 21,000 damage. Now, game 2, again, just to kind of familiarize myself with the regular plays, I did decide to go first, and that was quite a bit of a mistake. He did have evenly matched and a Dark Ruler no more. This wasn't great for us as we weren't able to build a board anyway, but we did have the match change to go into a Dark Law. He, however, had the Parallax Seed, which meant he had Boguska, and, well, he won. He very simply, very easily took that. So, we are moving on to game 3. I did decide to double down on going first, and it actually worked really well for us as I did draw both a Summon Limit and a Solemn Judgment. I had a fantastic hand, I was feeling incredibly confident, and I just started building my board, really thinking there is no way he could possibly break this. It included a Dark Law, a Zero Sunriser with double Mask Change, and then, well, Nibiru happened. Luckily, our rock was massive and Zero cleared his monster, so he didn't have the additional extender on his turn. From there, he summoned 2 monsters, we flipped Summon Limit, and well, that was game. So, admittedly, because our hand was absolutely broken, we were able to take that match. Again, Brandon does generally take that match with us, but really fun. And I do feel like Summon Limit is actually like a very undervalued, underrated card right now. I know it's a floodgate. I know people like to stay away from floodgates, which I can totally respect, but I do think it puts in a lot of work in this current format. Next, we're going to skip ahead and talk about a really competitive opposing deck, that being Eldlich Synchron. Ganon was piloting it, and as you guys know, I really do appreciate the deck and Ganon as a player. I did run the deck previously for the last 2 tournaments. We did end up winning both of those, and I really do think that speaks to the deck's consistency and power, as again, I've only really been playing for about half a year, and I'm still making a lot of misplays. With that said, he did go first, opened full combo, and well, we simply couldn't break through the negates with the hand full of monsters, so we moved on to game 2. It's worth noting that game 2 he opened with a Nibiru, and well, Heroes, they don't do too well with the rock, so he did take that one too, but it was really fun to see Ganon playing such a strong deck as he normally does like to play, and still succeed with less powerful, fun rogue decks. Now, the next round is actually a really, really neat one. We are playing against an old friend of mine named Jonathan, who used to attend our old locals Action Pack Comics 10, 12 years ago. We used to go to regionals together. Fun fact, he actually topped his very first regionals. So he's a really smart player. He's a really good guy. And we hadn't talked for like 10 years, but as soon as we jumped into the Discord call, we kind of had a little bit of a back and forth, and it was like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. I love this guy. He's part of that Yu-Gi-Oh family that you make at locals. You never really kind of lose that special kind of connection with, if you know what I mean. If you've been going to locals for like 10 years, I'm sure you know what I mean. But you make these friendships that just last, and even if you don't talk for the longest time, it comes right back. And it's awesome, and it was really great to have John as a part of the community again. So with that said, let's jump into the top 4 and just have some fun. So I would like to start this first game off by noting that John is, and always has been, just a very creative and successfully creative deck builder. So as you can see, he is playing Salamangreat, but it's a more heavy combo variant. He has a lot of fun tech cards in there, really enhancing its ability to OTK. But here, you do see, he has the normal salad board. We aren't able to do much. We do summon a single Darklaw, attempt to swing over his monster he protects, and on his turn, he is able to start comboing a bit more. He does utilize the new rank 4, or rather link 4 from Eternity Code, and we aren't left with much at all. So on our following turn, we draw Honest Neos and scoop it up. Now, in the second game, I do decide yet again to go first, and as you can see, I had a couple of different options. I could use the E-Call to grab a Solid Soldier, normal it, special the Shadow Mist, search a Mash Change, and then therefore have a Darklaw, but I decided to go a slightly more combo-heavy route to build a couple more monsters on board and really ensure that we don't get OTK'd with cards like that of Absolute Zero. We also have some pretty fantastic trap cards to stop him after his second summon. That is what we do, and that essentially wins us the game, as on our following turn, we can summon Stratos, pop all of those back row, and there we have it. So here we are jumping into our game 3, and I love that we got to a game 3. Whenever I play an older friend, I really do like to get as many games as we can, just, you know, have that conversation and enjoy the time together. With that, on this turn, you can see just how innovative he has been with this deck, playing a lot of unusual cards, but as you can see, they are working. He is link climbing, and he's building this really interesting board. However, we do draw quite a few board-breaking cards. We do have the evenly matched double storm. We activate one, he negates. That, of course, allows us to activate his second, which doesn't do that much. Then we do try to use the Shadow Mist. He bounces it back to our hand, and that means our Honest Neos in hand, it is not going to do much at all. So he starts going off, he starts building, and oh, look at that. That right there is an OTK. So John is able to take the match, and what a fun match it was. Honestly, just such a pleasure playing with him, talking with him, and he has joined us for a couple of tournaments since. It's been really good, so hopefully you guys enjoy seeing his very different but very innovative way of playing the deck. I'd also like to note that, again, I was feeling pretty rusty with Heroes throughout this, so after the tournament we did play some fun games, tried out some really fun different decks as well, and I did start to feel significantly more comfortable with it. I started to remember the combos, and it's just a good reminder that if you haven't picked up a deck in a while, you probably want to play a couple practice games. That said, all of my opponents today deserved their wins. They played really well, and, you know, full credit to everyone there. So just a lot of fun. Another great locals in the books. So that concludes our tournament. Honestly, so much fun to just kind of reconnect with Heroes, reconnect with so many of my old friends. And I have to say, I know that I noted that this series was going to become weekly in the previous episode, and then I just didn't upload for 3 weeks. Why is that? I've been on Twitter a lot lately, and as I'm sure all of you know, we have something incredibly important going on in America and Canada, really everywhere right now. The movement for Black Lives Matter, the movement for equality, and there was a real blackout last week with content in general, and I made a firm decision not to post. This video is actually quite old. I've had it kind of, almost finished for just a really long time, and I decided not to post it because while this series is fun, while it's enjoyable, I really didn't want to distract. I didn't want to take away from the really important conversation that was being had. If you follow me over on Instagram, you know that I've been sharing a lot of this in my Instagram story. So I decided to not upload and just kind of focus in on what was important, that again being equality, that being the Black Lives Matter movement. It is not over. We still need to continue fighting this fight. I did make a small donation, and I'll also leave a link in the description to where you can do so as well. But if you don't have the money, don't feel bad about it. Just continue to help move that conversation forward, help continue to normalize equality and ensure that we are all looked at as equal, because we are. And it's, I think, absolutely ridiculous that everybody doesn't see it that way, especially in 2020. But it's incredibly important, and that's why I haven't been posting. But with that said, and kind of on that note, I wanted to note here that I'm now posting this, A, as an excuse to have this conversation with you, but B, to add a little levity. Because I think at a certain point in the fight, which needs to be ongoing, we need to ensure that our mental health is up and that we're doing okay. That each and every one of us is doing all right, and we're not getting too dragged down by everything that's happening, especially on social media platforms like Twitter, because while it's all incredibly important, we need to ensure that, we don't burn out and that we can continue doing this. So I figured that hopefully for some of you, this video, it could lift you up. It could make you feel better. It could make you feel okay. It could add some levity to that day. And, maybe maybe making all of those misplays, maybe watching those kind of gave you some good laughs. Maybe watching that one turn where I did 21,000 damage, that was pretty cool. Also made you smile, little things like that. But it needs a lot of attention right now. The Black Lives Matter movement is ongoing, and it should continue to be ongoing, and we should continue to fight for equality and continue to do what we know is right. So yeah, there will be a donation link again in the video description. But I guess kind of on a less heavy side of things, on a really cool side of things, I am competing in the YouTuber Grand Championship over on Cimoooo's channel. It's something he does every year. And my first round, I played against Lithium, who is a significantly better player than me. He is really, really good at the game. But the formats were decided by the spin of a wheel. We were each designated a different year. He got 2008, so he could actually play my favorite deck of all time, Gladiator Beast. And I got 2019, which means I had 11 years of power creep on my side, triple engage, triple multi-roll. So while he was a significantly better player, I had a significantly better engine in my deck, and it made for the most absolutely fantastic match. I really recommend going and checking it out. We actually played for like 2 hours on Discord. A lot of it was just chatting and having fun, but it was so much fun. I make a bunch of misplays. Spoilers, I'm new. But just so much fun. Heavily recommend checking that out. I'd also like to note that Mario, the man who runs our tournaments, who, has the card shop Mario's Gaming World, he is now starting a second channel where he's going to start doing box openings. Because he needs to open boxes for singles to sell, he's going to give you guys, and me really, his insights into how much of each product he's buying, why he's buying that product, what product he isn't really investing in, all of that to just kind of give us a deeper look into, investing in these cards, which can sometimes be really, really expensive. So I heavily recommend checking that out. I love Mario. He's a great guy. And he's really turned into a brother over, I guess I'll say these last, 12, 15 years. But just such a good guy. And the videos, they're going to have some really, really nice montages, a lot of great insight. It'll be a really good box opening channel. So I heavily recommend going and checking that out. There will be a link to it in the video description, along with the link to the Cimoooo game, and of course the link that really matters, where you can donate to the Black Lives Matter movement. So there we go. Yeah, a video went in a lot of different directions, had to have some heavy talks, and those heavy talks should continue. We, again, need to ensure that equality is at the forefront of our priorities, and yeah, but I do hope that the video is able to kind of brighten your day, give you a smile, make you laugh, and just have a positive impact. So thank you so much for watching. I am going to continue working with heroes. I will not be making as many misplays as I did this episode, because I have been spending quite some time with the deck since that tournament, and I have remembered a lot of it. So we're sailing significantly more smoothly, and the next episode should be pretty awesome. With that said, I will see you guys in the next episode of Returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! If you'd like some early updates, you can follow me over on Twitter. But thank you for being here. I hope you're doing okay. I hope your mental health is okay. And I hope that we can all kind of continue this very important fight together. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for doing what you do. And I will see you guys in the next one.